So let's get more perspective on this. The government's dream of providing housing for all by 2022. Ramesh Nair of JLL India joining us. Hi Ramesh, thanks for joining us on CNBC TV 18. This is Nair. So we've been hearing about housing for all for quite a while. The government talking about 62,000 crore rupees, 82,000 crore rupees, 60% of the project cost to be borne by the centre, not in 1 year, of course. What I want to ask you is that what does the government need to do on its part to ensure there is housing for all? Because let's face it, it's a state subject, housing that is.
Yeah, Nair, definitely a welcome announcement where the government has told that they will help construct Pakka houses for the houseless people, where they're planning to build a crore of homes in rural areas in the next 3 years. But my worry is it's all about announcements. We've seen so many different announcements on smart cities, on housing for all, and Make in India. Now, where is all the actual execution, and when is all the execution going to start? Just let's look at urban housing. We're talking of 19 million shortage of 19 million homes shortage in urban housing, and that you divide by 7 years, because the BJP's promise was by 2022 everyone will have a home. So 19 divided by 7 years, that we're talking of around 2.7 million homes a year. In the peak of the Indian real estate market, which is 2008, during that year we just saw 4 lakh homes being delivered. So 4 lakh is the maximum we are delivered, but the government is talking about 27 lakh homes a year. I think firstly, government needs to have realistic goals. Secondly, the importance
of... Ramesh, is anybody going to be doing this? This is going to be a very low margin game. Land is very, very expensive. So, you know, I understand it's a very ambitious program. The government has to do its bit. What, for example, should incentivize FAR, allow higher FAR, bear part of the cost of the land, give it at a low cost? What would you... Tell me the top 3 things the government needs to do.
See, 4 or 5 things the government needs to do. One is banking exposure for the real estate sector definitely needs to go up. Which means risk weightage has to be reduced for the real estate sector. Second is, at least one good thing the government did during the budget last month was try and reintroduce a scheme like ATIB for affordable housing. That was definitely a good move. But the biggest dampener which the government needs to fix, today the taxes which a real estate developer pays is around 27% and customers pay around 11% tax. So that's 38% of the cost of a unit going just in taxes. Now, unless the government fixes that, how is it going to help the end user actually?
The GST going to take care of that, Ramesh? The hope, I would imagine, is the GST should reconcile some of those differences?
Some of the differences, but I think a lot of it will still remain. And the customers and developers and the government needs to look at that. Broader coverage of priority sector lending is also important. So these are some of the things which the government... Look at a city like Bombay today. The government is talking about making housing affordable in Bombay. But let's look at 3 things the government has done which is going to make housing actually more expensive. Firstly, the development control regulations which are supposed to come has been delayed. More than a year and a half of delay, which means more confused developers, more developers waiting for the new thing to happen, which means supply is reducing. 2 weeks back, the courts have passed a judgment that no new construction will start in Bombay till one fixes the pollution issue in the city, the Nair dumping ground issue. Again, impacting. And third is obviously RERA now. Everyone is confused about how RERA is going to be implemented. So all these 3 things, what's actually going to happen is supply is going to reduce. And if supply reduces, you're not going to get more housing stock in the city.
Right. Okay, Ramesh, we're running out of time, so we're going to leave it at that. Thanks a lot for joining us. So, clearly not enough to just announce a big figure. A lot more needs to be done. The states need to get on board. We need to see lower taxes. We need some incentives for the builders to actually go ahead and build houses in rural areas.